this 1 week until the final vote. Here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, of course, we have been voting and voting and voting some more in the state's largest early vote drive. We will have updated results in just a second. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the program. If you would like to log your entry in Wisconsin's largest early vote drive or just join the show, shoot us a call, give us a text on the adventknows.com talk and text line 1-800-838-9476 or 414-799-1130. You can also email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where, as always, we are streaming live via the DanoCam. Watch, comment along also on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and on YouTube. Join the conversation. Be an active contributing member to Dan Nation. I can't tell you again how appreciative I am of each and every one of you for doing your part to build up such a massive early vote lead that none of the things we're hearing about now with respect to the potential for non-citizens voting in several states, how is it that two critical states can just sort of say, yeah, no, you're not going to purge non-citizens from the voting rolls. We will get into that. Much, much more. Congressman Grothman standing by in the 10 o'clock hour. Coming up later this hour, of course, we will name the Unhinged Liberal of the Day. It is always a good time. And today's Unhinged Liberal, I think it is very, very likely, had her brain broken by the possibility that Donald Trump is now just 7 days away from winning back the presidency and becoming the first president and only president since Grover Cleveland to win the office on two non-consecutive occasions. Before we get to any of that, however, it is time now to play the Fall Fortune Cash Contest, and the word this hour is bank. B-A-N-K. Bank. You've got until 55 past this hour to go to our website and enter the keyword bank to enter the contest. On the line, $1,000 instantly. If your entry is picked at random, you win. No strings attached. $1,000 is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I love doing Wisconsin's largest early vote drive for a multitude of reasons. And I think I've articulated those almost ad nauseum over the past several years. I want to build up a firewall of Republican votes that Democrats can't possibly overcome on Election Day or well after the polls close, with a whole bunch of ballots just randomly being found in Milwaukee. I want to make it, as President Trump says, too big to rig. I also hate early voting. I believe voting should be conducted, as it is in pretty much every other nation on earth, on a single day. I strongly support making Election Day a federal holiday, both in the midterms and on the presidential election days, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November every other year. And I do believe that the state can very easily make it a holiday when we have our spring nonpartisan elections. And I believe that early voting or absentee voting should only be done with an excuse. And that excuse needs to be in writing. I think getting it notarized might be a little bit too much. But this idea that you could just sort of vote for 6 to 8 weeks before Election Day is ludicrous, and that's why I want to stop it. That's why I think this year, with what we're seeing not just in Wisconsin, but across the swing states, it's a tipping point that so many Republicans are voting early that we will finally achieve my goal of getting Democrats to beg us to go back to a single day of voting. But the real reason I do it is for texts like this. My conservative veteran father turns 85 tomorrow, meaning today. He took his walker and went to early vote by himself. They actually pulled him ahead to the front as the polls were just opening. Yep, first time early voting for that soldier. He is so proud, and so are we. An American flag emoji. Sir, I don't know your name, but happy 85th birthday, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking part in Wisconsin's largest early vote drive. He was one of 1,275 early voters in Dan Nation yesterday. In truth, there were probably many, many more. But the number that I have is 1,275 people texted me up, emailed me, hit me up on Facebook or X or somewhere else, and let me know that they voted. A lot of people said that they voted with their spouse, with their kids, with some friends, doing what I have asked. Again, if you've already early voted, your job is not done. Now you need to get as many other people as you can in your social circle, your family, to vote early as well. So with yesterday's 1,275 early votes, we are currently up to 8,738 votes from listeners to this radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so incredibly proud of each and every one of you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that we are doing so much to help Donald Trump, Eric Hovde, the constitutional amendment, every Republican and conservative candidate in the state legislature. Remember, every state assembly seat is up for grabs, and the districts were redrawn, totally not gerrymandered to give an artificial Democrat advantage. No, no, no. Now we have fair maps, you see. And, of course, we've got a good number of state Senate seats up. Every single member of Congress in Wisconsin is up. I'm not seeing it. We have not really focused on any of the congressional races here in Wisconsin because I just don't see any of them as being particularly close. Democrats essentially tried to gerrymander Brian Style out of a seat. They redrew the district that for a long time was represented, of course, by the former House Speaker Paul Ryan to include parts of Milwaukee County, I believe, thinking that this would draw so many Democrats into what was already a reasonably close district that Style would have a tough time competing. Well, that essentially took their margins away in western Wisconsin, the district that for a long time was represented by rubdown Ron Kind. Remember the guy who owned a building and had no idea an Asian massage parlor was, shall we say, making their customers very, very happy at the end of massages. No idea. So from that moment on, we called him Rubdown Ron Kind. He actually resigned after a quarter century in Congress because he saw the footsteps of our good friend, current Congressman Derek Van Orden. What Democrats actually did was pull Democrat votes out of that district to help the Democrat trying to unseat Style. Didn't work. Peter Barca, the Democratic candidate in that district, just had a big blow. He was going to be supported by the National Democratic Congressional Committee, but they actually pulled millions of dollars in support from him, apparently seeing what I think most people watching that race were seeing, that Style is. Now, I'm not saying, please don't, I am not taking anything for granted. But I'm saying it's not as competitive as I think Democrats would have hoped it would have been. Same deal for Rebecca Cook, the challenger to Van Orden in that western Wisconsin district. Tom Tiffany doesn't face a serious challenger. Scott Fitzgerald doesn't face a serious challenger. And unfortunately, Mark Pocan, as much as I do like Olson, his challenger, the district is simply too Democratic. So we have been focused very, very closely on the presidential race and the Senate race, as well as the constitutional amendment. And lest you think it's a moot point, we don't need to change the Constitution to clarify that only American citizens are allowed to vote in Wisconsin's elections. We still haven't gotten a straight answer about the driver's licenses that are being given to people who are non-domiciled, which means to me they're homeless or don't have a house, don't have a home in Wisconsin, or they're here temporarily. Now, we have gotten reports from a number of members of Dan Nation that either they or their spouses are non-citizens, they're green card holders, and they have the exact same driver's license as an American citizen, i.e. easily used for voting, because a clerk just won't be able to tell the difference. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation just is not explaining in any depth how exactly it's preventing non-citizens from using these driver's licenses to illegally cast ballots in Wisconsin. So it's clearly happening, and there's clearly a movement in Wisconsin to try to make this happen. We have some undeniably good news in that Senate race, ladies and gentlemen. On Friday, I reported exclusively that internal polling not only showed that former President Trump was up between a point and 2 points in each of the last 3 internal polls that was conducted in this state, but that in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup, Eric Hovde was tied with Tammy Baldwin. I say hypothetical because there are candidates in that race who are not Hovde or Baldwin. One is Libertarian Phil Anderson. Remember, we joked for reasons even to this day unknown to me. I just decided to make Phil Anderson my mortal enemy because I was upset that you had so many third-party candidates who have no earthly business being in these races, and all they do is siphon away votes from the Republican. Well, Libertarian candidates have a tendency to take from both parties. I've always thought that they take from the Republican Party more than the Democratic Party, so we declared for no real reason at all Phil Anderson to be my mortal enemy. He actually called up. We had a great conversation. I actually like Phil quite a bit. There is also a fake candidate in this race. His name is Thomas Leaguer. He's running on something called the America First Party ticket, and it's completely and totally funded by Democrats. This is a continuation of one of the dirty tricks that they ran in 2022. Democrats would artificially boost candidates that they knew were not going to win in a general election so as to have an easier path. So in the Republican primary, they would actually meddle, something that we were told when Rush Limbaugh tried to do it in the Obama-Clinton primary in 2008 was the most unethical thing in the universe. They did this in 2022. In 2024, we're seeing this in the Senate race. The race is tied when you include Thomas Leaguer. He is a fake candidate. Even if you can't stand Republicans, even if you can't stand Eric Hovde, you need to vote for him. Otherwise, you are taking part in what essentially amounts to a Democrat's psychological operation, or to use a common phrase, PSYOP. Last night, my mortal enemy, Phil Anderson, contacted me and said, Dan, you won't believe the ad that Tammy Baldwin has been running on YouTube. These are what are known as pre-roll ads. So you want to watch a video, you want to watch, Mr. Beast or something, and the YouTube algorithm can see you're in Wisconsin. You're just flooded with pre-roll ads that you can't skip for Tammy Baldwin, for Kamala, to a much lesser extent for Hovde and for Trump. But the Democrats have just dominated YouTube pre-roll ads, which I have long thought is very, very smart, because this is where people are. There aren't a whole ton of them watching Wheel of Fortune anymore. To be sure, there are a lot, but there can be potential. Just look at the audience for the Joe Rogan podcast, which you can't find on YouTube because there was apparently a mass reporting campaign. They would report the Trump interview as containing misinformation, so YouTube's algorithm makes it impossible to find the full Joe Rogan-Donald Trump interview. There were something like 20 million views in the first 24 hours of that thing being posted online, and millions and millions and millions and millions more views of the clips that get circulated across social media. So Kamala and Baldwin in Wisconsin have just dominated the pre-roll ads. Anderson, however, to his immense credit, noticed something rather remarkable that goes in line with the internal polling that I reported on Friday, and also the internal polling from Baldwin's own campaign that she leaked to the Wall Street Journal early this month that showed her race with Hovde tied and Trump actually up 3 here in Wisconsin. She is so terrified that she is actually boosting Anderson in this ad. This is another Democrat dirty trick in 2022. And in fact, this is how they would boost their favored candidates. They would say, John Smith is just too conservative for New Hampshire. He wants to deport illegal immigrants. He wants to cut taxes. And he wants to make, I don't know, cookies and puppies free for everyone. You know, they would try to make it sound like an attack ad, but really it was aimed at a conservative audience trying to boost the candidate who would either siphon votes away from the main candidate or the candidate that they wanted to do in the primary. Here is the ad that they ran. And what's critical here is on these pre-roll ads on YouTube, sometimes you can skip after the first 5 seconds. So there will be a little countdown, and then once the countdown hits 0 from 15 or 10 or 5, the countdown will be replaced by a little button that says skip, which will allow you to skip the rest of the video and go right to the content that you actually want to see. What's critical about this ad is that it leads with the Phil Anderson bit before Eric Hovde, meaning you can't skip the part where the ad is talking about Anderson. Now, I want you to listen very carefully how they talk about each candidate. First Anderson, then Hovde, then Baldwin. Remember, this is a Tammy Baldwin ad.
Get the facts on the candidates for Senate. Phil Anderson is a Libertarian candidate. He's trying to slash federal spending, stop government from regulating cryptocurrencies, end income taxes, and eliminate the IRS. Eric Hovde is the Republican nominee, a California banker. He wants to end protections for pre-existing conditions, pass an abortion ban, and increase health care costs for overweight people. And Tammy Baldwin is the Democrat, fighting for working families, working to bring down costs, protecting the right to choose, and getting law enforcement the resources they need to secure the border and stop the fentanyl crisis.
Now, most of you, I think, got what the real purpose of that ad was. Makes Phil Anderson sound pretty darned awesome, right? Man, he wants to deregulate cryptocurrency. He wants to slash income taxes. He wants to just get rid of the IRS. And Hovde is a California banker. Listen to this again. The contrast. We're just going to hear the Hovde and Anderson parts to really hammer home what this ad is really doing.
Get the facts on the candidates for Senate. Phil Anderson is a Libertarian candidate. He's trying to slash federal spending, stop government from regulating cryptocurrencies, end income taxes, and eliminate the IRS. Eric Hovde is the Republican nominee, a California banker. He wants to end protections for pre-existing conditions, pass an abortion ban, and increase health care costs for overweight people.
Okay. First of all, the stereotype that a bunch of people in Wisconsin watching this ad must be overweight, so this is going to go directly to them, is a tad offensive to this Wisconsin native and lifelong Wisconsinite, who, by the way, has been losing some weight on a diet that I've been on over the past couple of weeks. Producer Dave asks immediately, are you staying out of the bar? Yeah, I have actually dramatically reduced my alcohol intake. You know, it Yeah, I'm at my in-laws. They've locked the liquor cabinet, so my teenage son and I can't steal. No. No, I have been losing a lot of weight, and yes, I did make that overweight joke just so I could brag about the fact that I've lost about 7 or 8 pounds in the last week or two. Yeah, I'm very proud of myself. I'm exercising more. I'm eating. It's more, my diet is just way, way better. I have just been real conscious about what I've been eating. Now, why would Tammy Baldwin not lead with Eric Hovde? Why would she make the Phil Anderson part of that ad the part that you can't skip? It's rather obvious. She wants people, and this was a targeted ad. I've got the Google Analytics behind it. It started running on October 24th, and as of at least yesterday, the last time it had aired was yesterday, meaning it's currently in rotation. They have spent several $1,000s on this, and my guess is that now I can't see the total demographics that they're trying to put this to. This is why internet ads are so incredibly effective, ladies and gentlemen. It's because you can micro-target them to men aged 45 to 54 who live in Waukesha County. I mean, it's just remarkable what you can do with online advertising. This ad was, all I can see on Google Analytics is that it was targeted to all people in Wisconsin. All right. So the Tammy Baldwin campaign, my guess is micro-targeting this at people who are otherwise going to vote for Eric Hovde. This to me is a deep sign of desperation by the Baldwin campaign, who knows that this is either a very tight race or that she's losing, because she knows if she can peel away a certain percentage of the Hovde vote and drive them to Phil Anderson, she's going to win. Now, the thing about libertarian candidates is that they have their libertarian backing, and they tend to usually not pull too many votes away that otherwise wouldn't be there for the libertarian candidate away from Republicans. In other words, the libertarian vote is there. Anderson, when he was on the show, said, look, a lot of these folks, Dan, I go out and talk to them. They wouldn't otherwise vote. They're going to vote for me. They'd never vote for a Republican. They'd never vote for a Democrat. They're going to vote for me. The real danger in this race isn't the libertarian. It's not Anderson, it's Thomas Leaguer. But just shows you what the Baldwin campaign, instead of articulating a positive vision or a strong record of accomplishment in the Senate, because Baldwin has neither, she's instead going to resort to the same sort of dirty tricks of promoting a fake candidate and dumping money into another candidate who she thinks can serve as a spoiler. Now, this is undeniably good news because it shows how terrified she is of a Hovde win. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch-certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Hot summer night, lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MalaliFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Malali. Malali Furniture Finishing and Repair, serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I'm gonna bring it to life.
This is Steve Aoki, the famous DJ's remix of Thriller, of course. Would you call Thriller the ultimate Halloween song? I mean, I think it's pretty much gotta be. It's between that and Monster Mash, right? Maybe Werewolves of London. Producer Dave argues that Werewolves of London is not a Halloween song. Is Witchy Woman a Halloween song? Yes, I would argue it is. Disturbia by Rihanna. I think Black Magic by Little Mix. Hell's Bells by AC/DC. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Addams Family theme song, Halloween song. Munsters theme song, Halloween song. Yes. I Put a Spell on You, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, Halloween song. What's another one? This Is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a Halloween song. That's pretty much it. I think I'm out of Halloween songs. That's why you're hearing the same bumper music being played a couple of times. That's also by design, ladies and gentlemen. These are also songs that I just happen to like and want to share with you. We are awaiting a press conference at Mar-a-Lago. Former President Donald Trump is expected to speak. I am not quite sure what this is about, but my guess is that it has something to do with the fact that Steve Bannon, a longtime Trump ally, editor-in-chief of Breitbart, I'm not sure if he's still there. He does a big podcast whose name totally escapes me right now, which I should really remember, because he was calling me a great American patriot back in 2020 for the investigative work that we were doing in Wisconsin on all of the things that the Wisconsin Elections Commission and various other Democrat-aligned actors were doing to try to, in the words of my great friend Molly Hemingway of Fox News and The Federalist, steal the election to the fullest extent of the law. Folks, this is the only thing that truly keeps me up at night and, frankly, is contributing to a little bit more anxiety that I thought I would have in an election that appears to be, by every conceivable metric, trending the right way. Democrats control Wisconsin's executive branch. Same with Michigan, same with Pennsylvania. Kamala essentially needs to run the table and win all three. Now, the early vote signs are looking very, very good for Republicans, especially in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. I think it's all but guaranteed, and I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched here. But just based on candidate behavior, polling, early votes, election modeling, it looks as though Trump has all but locked up the Sun Belt. Arizona, North Carolina, and Arizona all look like they're going for Trump right now. Even Nevada, which is considered to be the most Democrat-leaning of the Sun Belt and potentially the most Democrat-leaning state of all of the swing states, the early vote there is not just a red wave, it's a red tsunami. The most respected political guy out there is a guy by the name of John Ralston, who runs a website called Ralston Reports. He's a Democrat. He's a lib. He is in utter panic mode about the firewall not Democrats are building up ahead of the election day vote, but Republicans. And people are asking me about the cannibalization factor. Dan, aren't Republicans just cannibalizing their own early vote? No. What the data is meaning, if all of our voters are voting early, that just means that the same people are not going to show up on election day. That is not true. And in fact, one of the big reasons we run the state's largest early vote drive is to try to get what are known as low propensity voters, voters who are either first timers or have voted only once in the last 3 or 4 elections to turn out. The percentage of low propensity voters among those Republican or likely Republican early votes is much higher than Democrats, which means when you're high propensity voters, and who do you think is more likely to wait until election day to cast their vote, a Democrat or a Republican? Probably a Republican, right? This has been the trend the last several election cycles. So Republicans will likely have the cavalry coming in on election day. They're still going to be more likely than Democrats to swamp the polls because Democrats' entire strategy for the last 2 cycles, especially the last presidential cycle, has been to get people voting by mail and voting early, and they're just not getting the margins there that they think. When we come back, you know what? I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do because we're running very late. So you know what? It's going to be total improv, baby. And let me tell you, I'll probably be less offensive and possibly funnier than Kill Tony was at that MSG rally. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show's coming right back. Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, which really is the best decision you can make after a collision. But don't just take my word for it. You hear me talk all the time about how great Mander is. Here's customer Melissa, who writes, "This is the second vehicle we have had repaired at Mander, and we will keep coming back anytime it's needed. They kept me updated every step of the way and took care of car rental details, so I was never without transportation. I had a question after I left, and everything was answered. They don't just send you off with a hearty handshake. They stand behind their work with a lifetime warranty, and customer service is absolutely top notch." That's right, Melissa, and that's why I have been recommending Mander and been a loyal Mander customer for so many years. Now with 7 locations to serve you. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com. Mander really is the best decision after a collision.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Freedom is a wonderful yet fragile ideal. Freedom empowers us to be great and do great things, individually and as a nation. As Americans, we are the stewards of freedom, and we are responsible for its preservation. This starts with voting. Voting is a privilege, and we are obligated to research and select leaders who stand for the promise of the American dream. Our choice for president cannot be driven solely by opposition to one candidate. And while not voting or choosing a third party is our right, we must ask, are these choices the best way to protect our freedoms? Our vote is precious. Let us remember that freedom is a privilege paid for by the lives of countless men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. By making informed, selfless choices on Election Day, we honor their legacy and the legacy of freedom. From all the landscape experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, may God bless you and may God bless America.
Landlords, property flippers, DIY, ladies and gentlemen. The in-stock vinyl window selection that you'll find at Lisbon Storm Screen and Door, get this, is larger than 5 big box stores combined. No waiting 4 to 6 weeks. When you need a solid value on vinyl windows, and you need them now, we have what you need today. And at the hands-down best prices you'll find, because we buy a ton of them. We know the demand is there, and we get ahead of the game so you can save big. We have more sizes than anyone, and if you need custom sizes or different colors or grids, we can take care of your needs. Now, these are value windows, but don't forget we also carry the highest quality Marvin windows in stock in more sizes and color combinations than anyone. We cater to every price point. This is David Wilhelm with Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Come see what's in store because we are without a doubt your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
It's quiz time. Here's your first question. Which senator joined the extreme left in Washington, D.C. to send COVID relief checks to prisoners, including the Boston Marathon bomber? Answer, Tammy Baldwin. Who backed puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin? Once again, Tammy Baldwin. Next question. Which senator even supported castration and mastectomies for minors? Time's up. It does sound crazy, but that was Tammy Baldwin again. Over and over, Baldwin has sided with the extreme left in D.C. Baldwin is for they, them, not you. And now for our final answer. It's time to replace Tammy Baldwin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates are used to patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes identity theft issues that arise. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use my name as your promo code, Clay.
You know, the big wireless companies want you to overpay for data that you don't need, but you don't have to settle for that with Pure Talk. Well, you get to choose how much data that you actually want. And for $25 a month, you'll get unlimited talk, unlimited text. You're going to get mobile hotspot, 5 gigs of data. Go with Pure Talk, and you get to choose how much data you actually want. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and if you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month from Pure Talk.
Don't be scared. It's Halloween season, and the free iHeartRadio app has everything you need to make it a scream. Commercial-free Halloween radio. Custom playlists like the original Halloween playlist. And spooky podcasts like Nocturno with Danny Trejo. Welcome to Nocturno. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Halloween, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
iHeartRadio.
Producer Dave, how about this? More Halloween songs. This is a remix of Tubular Bells, the theme song from The Exorcist. This is a Halloween song. The theme from Halloween. How about Nightmare on My Street by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince? Producer Dave actually shockingly makes a great point. Blind squirrel, occasional nut, you know the thing. He says, if every song that mentions a witch or a werewolf is considered a Halloween song, for example, if Werewolves of London is considered a Halloween song, then Snow and Informer would be considered a Halloween song, a Christmas song, excuse me. You know the guy's name is Snow. The song's name is not Snow. I do understand your point. So by your logic then, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow is not a Christmas song because it's not fundamentally about Christmas. The weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. My brother in Christ, that is Wisconsin in February, not December. We've got everything to do in December. We've got tons of places to go in December. February, the world just sort of shuts down here. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Once again, we are asking you to take part in Wisconsin's largest early vote drive. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I have got some bad news. The Kamala campaign is deploying the big guns. And I fear, no, it's not Clinton, it's even worse. They're trying to go after our man's man, sporty guy, jock vote, a backbone of the Republican Party. They're bringing out Doc Rivers. That's right. Coach Doc Rivers is appearing in a brand new Kamala ad where he's on a basketball court with Doug Emhoff and a couple of other Kamala surrogates.
All right, guys, huddle up. Let's go. Yes, this is the final stretch of the election. We have 30 seconds for one last play. All right, Coach. Doug, you're going to travel across all these swing states, right? And you're going to make sure that folks know that Kamala is going to take care of all of them, just like she takes care of her family. Yeah. Tony, you have to make sure everyone knows that Kamala is going to support their families. All right, Coach. Wes, you're going to make sure everyone knows that Kamala is an effective government partner. You got it, Coach. And all of you must head to iwillvote.com to make your plan to vote. To vote! For Kamala! Hands in. Kamala on 3. 1, 2, 3. Kamala!
Okay, now that Coach Rivers has formulated a plan for getting Kamala elected, can he please formulate a plan for the Bucks to win a freaking game? He got smoked by the Boston Celtics last night, falling to 1-3 on this young season, and frankly, they do not look good. I will remind you at this point, the Bucks fired Adrian Griffin when he had a 30-13 record last season to bring in Doc so he could dispense pregame wisdom like this. I mean, folks, you know what? Maybe I'm too hard on Coach Rivers. Look, I'm a Marquette guy through and through. My family is a Marquette family. I talk all the time about how much I love the school, how cherished my memories there are. In fact, I was texting back and forth with one of the best friends of my entire life, buddy named Louie. He and I go back and forth over politics. He's a giant lib, but the two of us just go back and forth, ripping on each other, trying to make the best jokes. You know, like how good friends should talk about politics. He's from the Boston area, lives in the Cleveland area now with his beautiful wife, his wonderful kids. And I love Marquette. So, of course, I love Doc Rivers. I've always loved Doc Rivers. You have no idea how hard I was rooting for the Celtics in 2008, primarily because I really don't like the LA Lakers. But nonetheless, Doc Rivers, yesterday before the Celtics game, he said he understands the concerns about the Bucks, and he's working his hardest to turn things around. Oh, wait, no, just kidding. He was talking about how terrible Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was.
You saw Madison Square Garden. I mean, come on now. Like, right? So, to me, it's so important to vote. I'm going to keep it as close to that as possible, but my gosh, you know, and when I tell people the guy was so great, then why did 80 million people vote against him, you know, in the last time he ran, you know? So, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't. But we got to do something about that. Was atrocious, what we saw. If you're a black man or a woman or brown, Latino, or Puerto Rican, or they hit everybody, you know, and it was awful.
Producer Dave is just on fire today with the jokes. He said, what, is Doc Rivers going as Steve Kerr for Halloween? Dipping not just his big toe into politics, but he is wading into the deep end of the pool and unfortunately is not providing particularly deep commentary. He, however, has absolutely nothing on our Unhinged Liberal of the Day. Folks, I have been waiting to do this segment since yesterday at like 12:30 p.m. We're getting to it next.
America at the precipice. An election with enormous implications. The stakes couldn't be higher. On election night, Tuesday, November 5th, trust News Talk 1130 WISN to bring you the latest results, plus the insightful analysis you need as the direction of America unfolds. Listen starting at 7 on election night, November 5th, to Decision 2024, the final vote on News Talk 1130 WISN, because this one feels huge.
I want to talk about Scott Ferguson at American Medical Plans. If you pay for your own health insurance or you're looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers and they will not stop. Instead, call Scott, an expert with over 30 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there'll be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Scott at 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526. Or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. That's AmericanMedicalPlans.com. They'll customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics, and since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Any exterior remodeling company can give you a lot of good reasons to get a new roof, siding, windows and doors, or masonry work. Aesthetic appeal alone or just resale value help it all make sense. But I'm compelled to continue to tell you what sets Semper Fi apart from the rest. What you're going to get from Semper Fi is a reputation that is backed by an undeniable stack of proof that we are who we say we are. Our character is guided by a level of trust and accountability which not only holds our teams together, but also keeps our reputation intact. And ultimately, that means leaving you satisfied. So when you're about to make that big investment in your home, isn't that what you want? This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Hey everybody, Benjamin Yond here, and I'm down 12 pounds thanks to Awaken 180's at-home program. Real results with the solution for weight loss. Get your results, then receive free support for life. Find them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Your Halloween soundtrack starts with Halloween Radio on the free iHeart app.
With your hands on your hips.
Plus custom playlists from every genre and the spookiest podcasts on the planet. Open the free iHeart Radio app, search Halloween, and listen now.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates are used to patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes identity theft issues that arise. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use my name as your promo code, Clay.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
It is time now to name today's Unhinged Liberal of the Day. Now, frankly, we could pull the Unhinged Liberal of the Day every day from her show. But today in particular, Whoopi Goldberg has outdone herself, outdone Joy Behar, outdone Sunny Hostin, outdone that random woman who pretends to be a Republican but says everything Democrats want Republicans to say. Whoopi, during a discussion of Madison Square Garden's Jokegate by the comedian Kill Tony about Puerto Ricans, said she could not believe that so many Hispanic women were supporting Trump. She said Trump is going to come in and forcibly break up their marriages.
He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
Let me get this straight. Not only is Trump going to deport Hispanic women, he is then going to take random white dudes and wait, hold on a sec. This is melting my brain having heard it.
He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
She's aware Trump hosted The Apprentice and not The Match Game, right? Trump is going to break up interracial marriages and make sure that white guys are not with Hispanic women, but with white women. Whoopi Goldberg, your Unhinged Liberal of the Day. Producer Dave, why are you giving me the, watch the time? We still got a minute left. Oh, shoot. I forgot. We pushed Dave Spano to Tuesday, didn't we? Dave,
Yeah, it's fun. I was entertained.
Okay, good. I'll tell you what. Can you stick around for 10 minutes? Sure. Because I really do want to talk about markets. What do you mean, how did I forget? I'm a creature of habit. I thought we had him on yesterday.
Forget about me, DOD. You don't forget about me, brother. Yeah, I'm fine.
You got to start.
Just let me know.
Dave, you got to start saying crazy stuff like Whoopi, and I'd never forget. Tell me that you're going to break up my marriage and put me with an Asian or something like that. Then I'll remember to get you. I'm kidding, my friend. We'll get to Dave Spano right after the top of the hour. Turns out, the unhinged conservative of the day and pretty much every day is me. What are the markets showing? Dave has got a great theory about Trump stocks versus Harris stocks, the predictive nature of the market, all that coming up. Plus, I think we may have from Kamala Harris the single most cringe moment in the history of American politics. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not kidding.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Tim Walz was in Waukesha with the city's former Republican mayor yesterday for a campaign stop. Walz tried to rally Republican voters who don't like former President Trump.
This is someone unfit for the office. This is someone who uses terms that dictators use.
The Minnesota governor was joined by Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley, who renounced Trump and endorsed Kamala Harris. While Walz was campaigning in Waukesha, Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance was making a campaign stop in Racine.
Kamala Harris would have us all believe that she was nowhere near Joe Biden, that she's had nothing to do with Joe Biden.
We're going to get the last look at the presidential race in Wisconsin tomorrow. The final Marquette Law School poll is due out tomorrow afternoon. The last poll, which came out earlier this month, gave Vice President Harris a 4-point lead over former President Trump, but more recent polls say Trump is either leading or tied with Harris in Wisconsin. Amazon founder and Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos is defending the newspaper's decision to stop endorsing presidential candidates. Bezos writes in an article on the Post's website that presidential endorsements do nothing to tip the scales of an election. The billionaire's comments came 3 days after Post CEO and publisher Will Lewis announced the paper wouldn't endorse any presidential candidate in this election or any in the future. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, after losing to the Celtics last night, the Bucks next head to Memphis to face the Grizzlies on Halloween night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture. I love them because they've got their own way of doing things. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Built Right actually buys lunch for their entire team every single Saturday. And they make it possible for all of their employees to be off at the same time each year for an Easter, summer, and winter vacation. Those are among the reasons that the 96-year-old locally and family-owned store was selected as the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year in 2023. HFA's CEO says of the Built Right family, they do things for their team and they do things to respond to their customers. They know what works and they've stuck with it. Randy Kay, fourth generation, says it's our hard work, passion, and dedication. So get to Built Right during the final days of their 96th anniversary celebration and $1 million clearance sell-off. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Windy and warm today with a high near 82 degrees. Steady southwest wind 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting up around 40 at times. Overnight tonight we stay mild, 68, should be back near 80 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Storage Mart.
Too much stuff and not enough space? Storage Mart is here to help. Find secure and affordable storage solutions for home, office, and more at a Storage Mart near you. Visit storage-mart.com today to rent space online. Storage Mart. Make room for more.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cabovers than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
I'm Benjamin Yant, and October's the time to check your windows. We go from keeping the cool air in to keeping the warm air in. Window Nation can help you. And for October, you buy 2 windows, get 2 free plus. No payments or interest for 2 full years. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Design Your Yard Show. Do you live in a home with distinctive architectural charm? Maybe it's a classic Dutch colonial with a timeless gambrel roof, or a prairie-style home with sleek horizontal lines. We admire unique architecture and the beauty of its influence throughout our homes. But does your landscape reflect that same character? At Seasonal Services, we believe the beauty of your home's architecture shouldn't stop at the walls. It should flow outdoors into the landscape. Your outdoor space should embrace the architectural features you love. Since 1994, the architects at Seasonal Services have been blending personal style with architectural harmony. We design and craft outdoor environments that complement the beauty and the character of your home. If you're planning a landscaping project and want to honor your home's architectural charm, call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or visit us online at seasonalservices.com.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates are used to patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes identity theft issues that arise. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use my name as your promo code, Clay.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? Check out Bath Fitter. One-day installation, no demolition, no mess, and they're celebrating 40 years in business this year. Call 262-395-4925 to make your appointment with Bath Fitter today.
Profound insight, piercing analysis. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
This hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show is presented by the WISN Vote Early Project. Make your voice heard now. Early voting is open. Contact your municipal clerk for details.
Told former President Donald Trump is going to hold a news conference at Mar-a-Lago. Now, we are going to take at least a portion of this live because it's frankly quite rare that Trump has spoken. I mean, he used to speak during our show when he was on trial pretty much every day, and it became kind of a part of our show. But since, the lawfare failed and the left tried to resort to a different strategy, we haven't heard from President Trump. Most of his rallies are in the afternoon, as you would expect, or the evening, including a big one this Friday night at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. I'm still not sure, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you have been asking if I'm going to go. We did put in the request. I'm going to follow up today for the former president to appear on this very radio show. My guess is that they are very strongly and tightly they're constricting the interviews that he does just in the final days. I mean, Trump does a lot of freewheeling interviews, like the 3 hours with Joe Rogan. Now we're hearing J.D. Vance is going to go on the Rogan program. Trump campaign obviously so happy with how that worked out with Trump. I think, frankly, J.D. Vance, who we've had on multiple times on this show, is one of the biggest assets Donald Trump has ever had in his nearly decade in politics. I mean, the man is just brilliant. So we put in the ask. Hopefully we'll have him on Friday morning. No promises, but, we take what we can get with the former president. We are also continuing Wisconsin's largest early vote drive. If you want to take part, just tell us you voted. 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. Email DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X. Just drop a reply to my pinned tweet or the tweet that I'm going to put out in just a second with the updated numbers. We had 1,200 275 people say they early voted yesterday, bringing our total to about 8,700. And we're looking for way, way more. We also need to bring you the 10 o'clock word in the Fall Fortune Cash Contest. It is WIN, W-I-N, WIN. You can win $1,000 in cash instantly if you just enter the word WIN and your entry is picked at random. Time now to know the difference between financial advisors. We usually do this Monday at about 9:55-ish. Now we're doing it Tuesday at 10:10 because your humble host, well, can't quite keep his scheduling straight. Now, the phone lines are lighting up right now, and that can only mean one thing, Dave Spano. Can you guess what it is? Any guesses?
The win. Win is the word.
Win is the word. We gave the right word. I just assume whenever I see the lights just boom go. Producer Dave says these are early voters. Folks, don't call because producer Dave just doesn't have time to write down, who voted when. We need to get that in writing in a text. So I probably should have made that clearer. Please text us on the adventnews.com talk and text line 414-799-1130 or toll free 1-800-838-9476. Dave, I'm sure, loves talking to all of you. And folks, I can't tell you how much I have loved reading all of your messages. Dave Spano, people are going to early vote. They're bringing their elderly parents. We had a great one about an 85-year-old veteran. He's 85 years young today, in fact. I'm going to put on my Willard Scott hat and say, happy birthday to you, sir. And he voted for the first time yesterday. Went by himself, took his walker, and early voted. We had a 100-year-old man not just early vote for the first time last week, but vote for the first time last week. First time in his life he has voted. I am trying desperately to find out who this man is. I was tipped off by a poll worker who helped him out, and he sort of told his story. We don't know who this gentleman is. All we know is it's in Dane County, and it's just a remarkable story. I am loving hearing from people who are just bonding with family and friends by getting together, by voting. They're sending me pictures. They're sending me great texts. I am, of course, reading every single one of them each night while I count up the votes. So, Dave Spano, we are just 1 week from Election Day. What are the markets telling you right now?
Well, you look at really the investment markets and you look at these other things like poly markets, 67% chance that he's going to win. The Trump basket of stocks, and we'll get into that, is really indicating that we see the 10-year Treasury continuing to rise. We see gold continuing to rally. All of these things are suggesting that he can win the election. But the fact that you're getting people out and vote is so important because some folks are going to get complacent if they think that it is in the basket. And I will tell you, and I'll warn some of your listeners that Hillary had a 95% chance of winning just days before the election. And we were saying internally that then the Trump stocks, if you will, that basket of stocks, was rallying and the Hillary stocks were not. Well, that's happening again today. But I would say let's be careful and make sure that you get out there and vote for your candidate. But what's happening right now is you're seeing semiconductors, you're seeing growth versus value. Again, you're seeing the U.S. dollar and gold. All of those, Dan, are indicating a Trump win at this point. And I guess it's a guess. Obviously, we do not know. So, the things that he can do afterwards that could create a peace dividend, if you will. You talk about peace and prosperity. Obviously, if these foreign conflicts can get resolved, the threat of nuclear war, World War III, if that gets diminished. And of course, right after that, you're going to have a peace dividend and you're going to have the Fed cutting rates days after the election are setting up for perhaps a short-term rally. But there's a lot of things to worry about. And I'm talking about, for example, there's a lot of economists talking about, do we actually get into a trade war? Does the debt get out of hand? What are these things that can happen? And so people are going to have to balance all of these positives and negatives, Dan. But as of today, most of the betting markets and the equities markets are suggesting a red win.
We are going to talk about this in much greater depth on our weekly podcast, The Difference. Dave and I host it. It is the intersection of politics and economics, how everything, economic trends, political trends, impacts your bottom line, your family's future. Highly recommend you check it out, you listen, you subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We see what can be unburdened by what has been.
The next President of the United States, Kamala
Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a Kamala Harris update, and you might not believe me, but I think she might have uncorked the most cringe moment in recent political history. This is not hyperbole. This is not a drill. It's real, ladies and gentlemen. At her big rally last night, Kamala was basking in the glow of chants for her name. Thousands of people chanting, Kamala, Kamala. And then she somehow managed to turn that crowd dead silent.
Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
What people are immediately comparing that to is the infamous Jeb Bush 2016 please clap moment. You remember that where he had what he thought was an applause line, and nobody applauded.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
She actually had a reverse please clap. The crowd was clapping. The crowd was chanting. The crowd was loud and boisterous. She goes, now chant your own names. Everybody's like, what? What do you mean? So it's just going to be like a loud cacophony of everybody screaming a random name? The crowd just died. So what does she do? Of course, cackles. I am continually amazed, by the way. I spent hours in our Kamala for President update theme, trying to match her cackle perfectly with the Woody Woodpecker laugh. She does it naturally all by herself. Her like natural cadence of her cackle is like, ha, 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 ha. Listen to this again. Listen to this.
I think the next president needs to be...
Oops, no, shut up, Jeb.
Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
Telling you, she sounds exactly like Woody Woodpecker. And this got me thinking, because I can't remember something as just horribly cringe as this. Since, well, like a week and a half ago, when you had the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, feeding that girl a Dorito and then looking at the camera, or possibly, kids cover your ears on this one, the Democrats just had an ad they put out a couple of days ago featuring a guy, how shall I put this delicately, going to the self-service counter, if you follow me. A guy having a good time underneath the covers. Got it? You get it? Got it? All right. He was, you know what? I happen to enjoy my broadcasting career and would not like to see it end, so I hope you get the point. He's, doing what he does. And they have a guy come in and say, hey, Donald Trump's Project 2025 is going to take care of it's going to get rid of your porno. They're now courting the pervert vote. So this got me thinking, the Kamala chant your own name. Is this the most cringe moment of this century of politics? Because I think one of the most cringe moments of all time, I asked producer Dave to come up with his. He said Dukakis in the tank. I mean, that was, he had the helmet on. It was too big for him. It was just hilarious. It was self-parody. It was kind of remarkable, actually. But this century, I think it's between Jeb Bush, please clap, and 2004.
We're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Now, I think that is still the cringiest moment of all time. It was after, the Iowa caucuses when Dean disappointed. Remember, he was the favorite going into Iowa in 2004. He did that scream, and it ended his political career. So I think that's the cringiest moment this century. Jeb Bush is now facing a strong contender for number 2 with Kamala's shout your own name. We now go to Mar-a-Lago, where former President Donald Trump is approaching the microphone. He is speaking to journalists and a group of supporters there for a press conference that was announced yesterday. We're not exactly sure what he's talking about. Vice President Harris, we know, is going to make her quote-unquote closing remarks this evening, so maybe it's a prebuttal. But here we are, the former president and hopefully future president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Things have been caught or in the process of being caught, but the election itself is going very well. We're leading, I believe, in all 7 swing states. So I appreciate everybody's work, and the spirit is unbelievable. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in our country's history, frankly, because we want to see our country get better. And that's why we're here, just to do a statement. And it's an honor to have some of our friends here. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has obliterated our borders, obliterated. We've never had a situation like this. Decimated the middle class, and runaway inflation has caused problems the likes of which we never thought possible. Bloodshed, squalor to our cities is common, and they've unleashed a war and chaos all over the world. You take a look, everything's blowing up or getting ready to blow up. No respect for our country anymore, no respect for our leadership. No person has caused so much destruction and death at home and abroad should ever be allowed to be the President of the United States. You can't have that. You can't have that. So I'm running on a plan to save America. We're going to save America. We have no choice. It's the greatest there is. We love it, and we're going to save it. We have no choice. And it's going to be saving it from the incredible destruction that's been caused by crooked Joe Biden and Kamala. And she's responsible because he wasn't responsible, and she never said that. He didn't know too much about what was happening. Maybe that was exposed during the debate. And yet still the way they took that away from him was not right. It wasn't right. Shouldn't have happened that way. They walked in, they said, we're taking it away. They stole the presidency of the United States. You can call it a coup, you can call it whatever, but they stole it. They went in like taking candy from a baby. And can't have that. And she's running on a campaign of demoralization and really a campaign of destruction. But really, perhaps more than anything else, it's a campaign of hate. It's a campaign of absolute hate. And, you know, I said yesterday that she's a vessel, and she is a vessel. It's a very big, powerful party with smart people. I have to be smart. But it's vicious. They're vicious, and they're perhaps even trying to destroy our country. Because who would want open borders where millions of people can flow in from prisons and from gangs, the worst gang members anywhere in the world? Who would want this for our country? Who would want all of these transgender operations all over the place, like at will? Even if you're in detention, I want a transgender. These are things she used to do. Who wants to defund the police? She's wanted her whole career to defund the police. She only changed recently. She changed on 15 different items. Fracking. She was against fracking at the highest level. Wouldn't even think about it. Now all of a sudden, I'd like fracking very much. But they change after the election in about 2 minutes, and I think Pennsylvania understands that. After 2 assassination attempts in just over 3 months, her lies and her slanders are very shameful and really inexcusable. And I can say that if I were president and somebody was being threatened, openly threatened like they've threatened me, I would say, if you do that, even if this was an opponent who I disliked, if you do that, we will obliterate your entire country, and it would all stop. But they wouldn't make that statement. They won't make that statement. And essentially, that statement has been made by other presidents, even concerning their opponents, as you know. Today, we're going to talk about the real character of Kamala, and a person who has no remorse for the anguish she's inflicted upon families all across America. On the contrary, I have to tell you, Kamala intends to conflict and keep this misery going, and she's going to keep it going as long as she can, because that's the only way she can get elected. She's going out and only criticizing, talking about Hitler and Nazi, and because her record's horrible. Her borders are the worst in the history of the world. There's never been a border in the world like this. I always say in third world countries, banana republics, they'd fight them away with sticks and stones if they had to. We let them come in, come on in. Knowing in many cases they're murderers, they're drug lords, they're traitors in so many ways to our country. If they were involved in our country at all, even that, they're coming back in, people that
This is former President Donald Trump delivering a news conference at Mar-a-Lago. Folks, I do apologize, but we have to cut this short. We have Congressman Glenn Grothman coming on talking about his race. We've got some the most epic CNN freakout I think I've ever seen last night. We have got all of that. President Trump, folks, I love him. But we thought there was going to be some sort of October surprise, something like that. He is delivering a pretty standard issue news conference. This is great strategy, though, because I'm watching the monitor on Fox. I assume MSNBC and CNN are also carrying this live. He's basically forcing them to hear what his rebuttal to Kamala, basically calling him a Nazi for the past week and a half, has been. MSNBC not carrying the press conference. Real surprising there. We will be right back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Stay tuned. We've got more conservative thought and not just talk coming up.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
Well, all right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitschke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richlands Tire and Service Centers.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey everybody, Benjamin Yond here, and I'm down 12 pounds thanks to Awaken 180's at-home program. Real results with the solution for weight loss. Get your results, then receive free support for life. Find them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Sick of all the homeowner headaches? Tired of being a landlord? Did you inherit a property? Go to MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB. It will make you a fair as-is cash offer within 24 hours. No fees, just cash. MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
Did you know that non-citizens are being allowed to vote legally in communities across the United States, including Washington, D.C., our nation's capital? This election, thanks to leaders like Representative Jesse Rodriguez, you can stop non-citizen voting from happening in Wisconsin. Vote yes on November's referendum, which may be on the back of your ballot. Yes, only citizens should be allowed to legally vote in Wisconsin elections. Paid for by Americans for Citizen Voting, PAC.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before October 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee, so you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is October 30th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
Former President Trump now airing a new ad on migrant crime under Vice President Kamala Harris at his press conference at Mar-a-Lago. We got to get the commercials in, unfortunately. I'd love for you folks to hear Trump, but he may be going long after this show is over. And as you all know, Clay and Buck start whether I'm done talking or not. So, you can watch the press conference on Fox News. I'll give you a special dispensation. Keep us on in the background. You can do the dual screen, watch the Dano Cam, watch the Fox News feed as well. We are joined live on the phone right now by a great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show. He is a congressman. He is your congressman and mine. He is one of my favorite dudes in the House of Representatives, Glenn Grothman, here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Congressman, how you doing today?
Well, good. Every day I feel better. I heard Donald Trump did a good job on the Rogan show yesterday, so that made me feel good. I quite frankly, I felt good ever since the vice presidential debate.
Really?
So, although I still feel the time is on our side. I think every day that goes by and people get another look at Kamala Harris, for the better.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And now we've got some reports that Kamala's advisors are sort of behind the scene bracing for what's looking more and more like a big loss. I mean, when you've got polls in Minnesota and Virginia and New Hampshire as close as they are, when you've got Trump going to Virginia and New Mexico in the closing days of this campaign, and you're seeing what we're seeing in the early votes in all of the traditional swing states, it certainly sounds like Trump is expanding the map while Kamala's path to the White House is shrinking dramatically. Is there anything at this point, Congressman Grothman, that really gives you pause that you think could still lead to a Kamala win?
Well, Donald Trump is kind of proven that people accept him for what he is. So, you know, he had his comedian there the other night kind of screw up, but I think every day that goes by, it helps him. And I don't know what could happen between now and next Tuesday that would make me change my prediction. Obviously, then you worry about the other down ballot races. Kind of what's going on there. Eric Humvey's a friend of mine. When I worked in Madison, I'd stop by his house. I'd stop by his office. I know he lives in Wisconsin. It's a little frustrating to have to put up with these advertisements saying he doesn't live in Wisconsin when I was at his house lots of times. I was at his office all the time. That's kind of frustrating, but I feel better every day. I think the House of Representatives is going to be close, so I worry about that. But we'll have to see. I feel good. I think the only thing that scares me, which I do tell people, is if Trump wins, let's say he wins 52-48, which would really, by today's standards, be a blowout.
Yeah.
We still have work to do if 48% of the public would vote for Kamala Harris for president, right? I mean, we got a problem with our fellow citizens, really, and we have to not just sit back on our laurels, but work away at how you should think about the issues of the day. Otherwise, I'll feel good. We have to make sure that a lot of the problems are solved in the next 2 years. We got to get the border solved, and that's going to be, on Trump. In addition to the border, we've got to get a couple of good budgets here. The public's got to brace. We have a few years here which we're not going to have big increases in spending, which is a good thing. My favorite is, I hope, unlike last time, they addressed this welfare mess, because I bet the welfare expansion in the 60s kind of pushed the American decline, a moral decline that comes with giving away a lot of money. And I hope Trump addresses that as well.
So you're all for welfare reform. The biggest issue, though, that you have been on, and by the way, I am absolutely agreeing with you. I've thought we've needed this since I first became sort of politically conscious in the 1990s when I was just a teenager and, of course, really got into politics post 9/11. But, I mean, looking back and reading into the Great Society programs of the 1960s, those have needed rollbacks pretty much ever since they were first implemented because of the way they decimated American families and American inner cities. But the thing that is, I think, the most pressing issue, and one that you have been leading the charge on in the House, is the issue of illegal immigration. I mean, we have got anywhere between 11 and 15 million people who have been brought into the country over the last 3.5, nearly 4 years. Former President Trump is talking about mass deportations. As a practical matter, is that even possible?
I think we can do a lot because once some people go, other people will follow. And that's particularly true if they say you can't get a job. Right now, we're flooding money into the system, giving people free food, free medical care, free housing. If that disappears, I think a lot of people have to go south. And I'll tell you why they have to go south. If we do not send these people back, it sends a message to other people south of the border. Even if you can't get in directly across the border, even if you got to take, say, a boat in the Pacific or whatever, it says we're not serious about enforcing our immigration laws. You got to remember when Ronald Reagan gave amnesty, and I think it was 1986, it was a big mistake because more people kept flooding here. Even though they said amnesty ends today,
right? When
you say you can come here, it just says, well, okay, every 10 or 12 years, we're going to wave the white flag and let everybody who got here stay here. It's incredibly unfair to the people who did it right. And by the way, something our team does not point out enough. Every year in this country, 850 to 900,000 people are naturalized legally. So nobody should ever feel apologetic or feel like we're being mean to people. We let a lot of people in here. When I was a kid, that was about 200,000. So right now, legally, we are swearing in about 5 times as many people as we used to swear in the 60s. We are very generous, so nobody should feel we're being mean by not letting more people in. And, of course, that's before you look at all the people coming here on student visas, work visas, what have you.
He is Wisconsin Congressman Glenn Grothman, of course, up for re-election. If you live in his district, cast your vote for him. Glenn, we always appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate it.
Real good. And like I said, remember to tell your friends we let in 900,000 people every year legally.
All right, sir, thank you so much. Take care. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth.
This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, and I want to talk about exactly what we do. When you come here, you're going to get 2 shots with 2 very small needles. One will be a medication called Toradol, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, completely different from a standard steroid or cortisone injection. This medication is safe and a great pain reliever. The other will be hyaluronic acid, which is a naturally occurring fluid found in all of our joints. What hyaluronic acid does is it helps recoat the inside surfaces to provide cushioning and lubrication. It helps slow down the osteoarthritis process to a point where patients may not need surgery. All of this combined with using our state-of-the-art Ultra G machine developed by NASA has produced profound results. What we do works. And the best part about this is that insurance covers most of our patients' treatments. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rule.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about Accunet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Honey, you're dusting again?
I can't keep up. It's crazy.
I don't want you to have to do that.
I hate it so much.
We need to call Capital.
What do?
They clean your ducts with high-powered trucks.
That cuts the dust?
Cuts the dust.
Because our air is only going to get worse.
Now that our windows are closed for the season, yeah.
And the holidays are coming.
We don't want everybody sneezing all over the place. I'll call them.
Already got it.
Oh.
Yeah, Capital, please save us.
Our duct cleaning technicians are standing by
to get you ready for the holidays
and save you time and trouble. And kerosene. That's right. Cut the dust
and breathe cleaner air.
Capital does over 1,000 duct cleanings every year.
Yeah, now is the perfect time to get your ducts clean.
Before Capital's holiday rush starts.
Let Capital Heating, Cooling, and Electric save your holidays and clean your ducts today. Schedule online at callcapitalcares.com.
How long have you been living with that joint pain? You're calling it an old sports injury or just old age, but you just don't have to live with it. Jay Weber here saying it took me too long to figure that out. If you're someone who's experiencing spine or musculoskeletal pain or shoulder, hip, or knee pain, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. They're the doctors and techs that I trust with my shoulder problems. I've had issues for years, and there's not enough damage to warrant surgery, so Ortho Wisconsin helps me manage the pain. Their clinicians, physicians, and surgeons are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and handle everything from simple strains and tears to sports injuries to managing degenerative diseases to complex joint replacements. In fact, Orthopedic Associates specializes in same-day total joint replacements at their ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee, and lesser treatments like physical therapy can be done at the Pewaukee, Brookfield, and New Berlin locations. Based on my experiences, you will be impressed with Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin and their staff. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
MKG Transport moves materials, parts, pieces, assemblies, moved locally same day, next day, and if needed, keep processes moving, moved back same or next day. Our drive, manufacturing movement, mkgtransport.com.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
A wicked good time is waiting for you now inside the free iHeart app, and it starts with commercial-free Halloween radio. It's the ultimate Halloween soundtrack for the season with spooky hits,
They did the Monster Man,
fun throwbacks, and all the essential Halloween anthems. Open the free iHeart app, search Halloween radio, and listen now.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
Just 2 days from Halloween. By the way, you can go to my social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and see my wife in my official Halloween costumes. What do you think? Should I show up in costume? Should I wear my costume on Thursday's show? No? That pretty much means I'm guaranteed to wear my costume on Thursday's show. What do you mean, what am I, 12? I've done it before. I think I went as Frankenstein one time. I was filling in for Belling years ago. I know it's radio, but we got the Dano cam on. I think people would get a kick out of it. Dave wants to know if he needs to walk me around the halls and collect candy from all the people in their cubicles. Very good, very good. Not quite as good as the absolute explosion on CNN last night. I couldn't for the life of me tell you the name of this show. It's the one hosted by Abby Phillip, and it is gradually devolving into The View. Mehdi Hasan, who was let go from his MSNBC show, has resurfaced as a CNN contributor, and he got into it with Ryan Gerdusky, who's a writer and also a CNN contributor. At least he was until last night, when Mehdi called Trump and all of his supporters Nazis. And Gerdusky shot back with an admittedly hilarious line, and things, well, spiraled out of control from there.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing it.
You've been called an anti-Semite more than anyone else at this table.
Yeah.
And people will sit there and, no, by me, I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not saying or saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that...
Did you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you're...
Let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a big supporter
of the Palestinians.
Hamas?
Guys, let me stop.
Are you? Am
I what? No, of course I'm not.
I apologize.
Are you a
Then I
racist, violent
apologize.
person
Then I
inciting
apologize.
violence against
Ryan.
Inciting violence.
I apologize.
Good job, CNN. Let's have first block say the Muslim guy should be blown up.
I apologize.
On TV.
Don't say then I apologize. You literally.
I thought he said Hamas. I
You didn't think I said Hamas. I said I supported Palestinian rights.
Yes, I did.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny
Palestinian,
is
you
Rudy
hear Hamas?
Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here to defend Rudy Giuliani.
I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
This is what we're in now. This is America in 2024.
Here's what I will say.
Forget the racism.
That's right.
It's I should die.
I didn't say that. You should die.
What does beeper mean? Don't give me your fake
I did not say you should die.
Why did you say with my beeper?
What did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper? No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least have the guts to support your racist comment.
Hang on.
I'm so sorry.
Gotta bring it back.
Yikes. The Views got nothing on that panel when it comes to talking over each other. And for the record, Gerdusky said he hopes Mehdi's beeper doesn't go off. Mehdi Hassan, by the way, has been an Islamist and has been a terrorist sympathizer for pretty much his entire career. Let's not pretend he's a delicate flower who needs to be protected at all costs. This guy has said some of the most vile stuff. We have documented a lot of it in years worth of Unhinged Liberal of the Day awards that have gone to Hassan. But after the commercial break, and it went on like that for like another 3 minutes of them just freaking out and saying that Ryan Gerdusky is the worst sort of racist there is, completely ignoring the fact that it all started with Mehdi Hassan calling Republicans Nazis. So they come back from a commercial break, and Abby Phillip looked straight into the camera and apologize.
We're back here, and before we get started, I want to just address what happened in the last segment. And first, I want to apologize to Mehdi Hassan for what was said at this table. It was completely unacceptable. When we get this discussion started, you'll see that Ryan is not at the table. There is a line that was crossed there, and it's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to us at this network. We want discussion. We want people who disagree with each other to talk to each other. But when you cross the line of a complete lack of civility, that is not going to happen here on this show.
CNN followed up with a statement saying that Gerdusky will no longer appear on the hallowed network. Meanwhile, Mehdi Hassan is free to call any Republicans he wants Nazis with no repercussions whatsoever. Cue the James Earl Jones voice. This is CNN.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Ben, your face is turning blue. Are you okay?
I'm fine, Nicole.
Are you still wearing that silly thing?
What silly thing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ben had an idea to promote the Avery Bedroom Collection from Penny Mustard.
The Avery bedroom is gorgeous.
Sure is.
Its concave design stands out from the other furniture designs.
Sure does.
If the Avery bedroom was a lady, she'd have an hourglass figure.
See, I told you so, Arvid.
What's going on?
Ben thought that accentuating some of his own curves would be a good way to highlight the curves of the Avery bedroom.
Oh, no.
So he's been wearing...
Don't say it.
A girdle.
Oh, Ben.
What?
Are you in pain?
Not anymore. I lost feeling in my legs a couple hours ago.
Come see the curvaceous Avery Bedroom Collection with queen bed, 9-drawer dresser, mirror, and nightstand, starting at $53.80 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
I want to talk to you about Scott Ferguson at American Medical Plans. If you pay for your own health insurance or you're looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Scott, an expert with over 30 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there'll be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Scott at 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526. Or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. That's AmericanMedicalPlans.com. They'll customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
We use powerful truck-mounted carpet cleaning units designed to remove even the toughest dirt, and certified cleaning technicians who understand the definition of clean.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is, Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
I'm a secret potion. I'll make you fall in love. For a spell that can't be broken. One drop should be enough. Oh, you belong to me. I got the recipe, and it's called black magic. It's called black magic.
Do I know the Trumpster or what? We took that press conference in the first segment of this show. Probably about 10:16, 10:17. He's still going strong, ladies and gentlemen. We dipped into it about as long as we could. We had to get to Glenn Grothman, who did tell us he is battling a cold, as I sort of feel like I have been for about the past month, with my voice just sort of always on the verge of cracking. And folks, I do appreciate you bearing with me. I really, really wish right now I was doing the 5-hour thing that I've been doing the past couple of winters, because I've got so much more material, yet only 3 more minutes of showtime. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post, wrote an op-ed in his paper explaining why it didn't endorse Kamala Harris, and he wrote a surprisingly introspective look at the state of media. Now, Bezos is an avowed liberal. Why is he writing right now what he wrote, that people have lost trust in media, that endorsements expose political bias, that 50% of the country just doesn't trust mainstream media. We're losing our audience to podcasts like Joe Rogan. He's writing this, I believe, because he believes Kamala is going to lose, and there is a movement, there is a groundswell beneath his and his fellow liberals' feet that is about to bubble up a week from today. The same day he wrote that op-ed, the newspaper with the single biggest circulation in the United States, USA Today, followed the Post, followed the LA Times, followed the Teamsters, followed the Firefighters Union, followed any number of traditionally liberal-leaning organizations in not endorsing Kamala Harris. This may seem like nothing, folks. These papers and these unions always endorsed Democrats until this year. Why do you suppose they're not? Why do you suppose Mark Zuckerberg came out a couple of months ago and said, wow, yeah, it was really horrible that we were censoring, and Donald Trump raising his fist after getting shot was the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life? Folks, these are the people who are most in the know in the entire world, and I think they can sense what's coming. That said, take nothing for granted. Another story I wanted to get to, burned up ballots in Washington state. There were apparently ballots found on the side of a road in Pennsylvania. You have got, of course, efforts to ensure that non-citizens are staying on voter rolls. We'll cover all of that tomorrow when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.